Hello, wonderful students, and welcome to your first on this day assignment of the school year. This will be brief, but first I want to go over the instructions. If you had me last year, it is very similar, just only minor changes. And if you do not have me last year, this is not a hard concept to learn. But every week we go over an event that we cover some point during the year, something related to what we cover during the year, either something we already covered or have yet to cover, or maybe we're covering at the moment that happened as close to on the day as you're meeting in class as possible. And this helps us make connections and has lots of positive reasons. Also helps us learn some concepts regarding time, geography, things like that. So this year, you have a timeline. Of course, the year is going to be different. So we're starting at 1870. And as we go over the events, you're going to write them on your timeline. And you're going to put these papers for your timeline in your binder, and you're not going to lose it because you're going to need it every week. We're going to take these out. Now, today's event actually is the 1840s. So this is going to be like on the far left as possible. It's a little bit sooner than what we covered, but it ties in so much with what we're covering. I wanted to do this event today. But usually things will be from like 1870 after. So the first thing you'll do is you'll write it on the timeline. Okay, and then you have this sheet that you're going to complete. So for today, because it's our first time, I filled out most of this for you, right? I'm doing your work for you today, so you're welcome. So you would put the date, the location, the event. That does not mean you're going to write everything you see on the slide. Often it's just what's on top. Where your brain power comes in is you're going to explain the significance. Significance is, why are we learning about this? Why is this important? How does this connect to something we're learning about? So the significance is not going to just be, it was cool, right? Even if it was cool, or it was bad, even if it was bad. But why do we learn about it? Little heads up, if you're in honors class, you're going to take everything you put in the significance column, and eventually you're going to use it to answer the essential questions that we've been doing from our Cornell notes. So keep that in mind. That might help you look back at the essential questions. That may help you think, how is this significant? Non-honors classes, you can still look at that if you're having trouble figuring out why it's significant. All right? And then the last thing you'll do is you'll fill out the map of where this event happened. And you'll put the letter. So like today is letter A, but you should probably also put the location. So as you saw before, today's Massachusetts. You'll be going up here in New England. You write A, Massachusetts. Okay? So let's do our first event. Today, like I said, it's a little bit earlier, but that's okay. The event was from September 10th, so just a couple days ago. And Elias Howe, this man right here, I'm keeping this brief today, right? He was given a patent for the sewing machine. So notice that his sewing machine looked very different than the sewing machines, if you had a home ec class or if you use one at home or you follow a sewer on TikTok or something. There were other types of sewing machines before him, but he developed a very special type that helped make them, helped really reduce the cost of textiles, like clothing, in the United States. He got this idea because he spent his youth and his young adulthood as an apprentice in textile mills. Remember, textiles are like fabric, right? In Lowell, Massachusetts, which was a big center of textile production. What do you think about his hairstyle and his facial hair and his hair? Do you think you can see that coming back? What do you guys think? Here's a pretty cool fact about him. He actually did not make as much money as he really hoped, as you would think after making this huge invention. Some people were disrespecting the patent laws and making similar things anyway. But for the money he did make, he used those earnings to help equip Union troops, so volunteer infantry unit who was from Massachusetts. So, the invention of the sewing machine actually helped fund the Union in the Civil War, which is pretty interesting. Because remember last year we learned a lot of troops didn't have just things they needed. Footwear, clothing, tents or blankets, a spoon, to eat your gruel with, and so equipping them was important. All right. So remember today's from Massachusetts. This actually looks pretty blurry, so I apologize. But Massachusetts, it's there to the right of New York, below Vermont and New Hampshire, above Connecticut and Maine. Go ahead and search it up if you can't see this clearly enough. All right. So make sure you label the timeline. Right? September, or whichever, 1846, September 10th, 1846. Make sure you're explaining why it's significant. Look at your old essential questions if you need help, and make sure you're filling out your map. All right, and then consider, should we bring back those hairstyles? All right, first one's done.